Governor Murphy said New Jersey transit strike did not have to happen. His words, did not have to happen. So why did they happen? And what do you think he meant by all that?
Look, I was with the governor this morning when he said it. And what he meant to say and what he said is that a deal could have been reached yesterday, and it wasn't. And it was the union's right to strike. But I want to, and the governor wants to emphasize that a deal is reachable, and we are working very hard at doing just that. Okay. For us, the principle is very simple. The union wants a fair deal. We want a deal that we can pay for, because no point in making a deal today if a couple of years from now, the fares have to go up tremendously, or the corporate business tax has to go up tremendously, or the taxpayers of New Jersey have to pay a lot of money. That is sort of the fundamental principle. I think we have agreed on 95% of all the stuff that we have to agree on. And I think we're going to work in the next couple of days with the help of the National Mediation Board, hopefully, to get to a solution.
But you implied with what you just said, with all due respect, that if it's not worked out the way you like it, we are going to pay for this for a long time, so we can't just get that extra 5%. That's one way of taking an interpretation of what you just said.
I think it's exactly the way. All I'm saying is you can absolutely get to a deal that is both fair to them, the union members, and fiscally responsible. These are not; these don't have to be goals that are in conflict with each other, and that's what a good negotiation is. So, and we had very constructive conversations over the last 3 days, and we're going to continue doing it over the weekend. And we'll see if we can get to a deal, and that is certainly my intent.
If you don't get to a deal by the end of the weekend, what happens to everyone who's got to go back to work? And how much longer will it take it down the road if you don't reach a decision this weekend?
And I certainly don't intend to speak for the union. I'll speak for myself and the governor. We believe a deal is reachable as long as both parties agree about the principles I laid out. I just want to be clear to the viewers and to New Jersey transit riders. Mm-hmm. It is very easy for me. I'm in this job for 1 year. I got handed this when I walked into this job 115 days ago. It is very easy for me to make a deal and not worry about the consequences. That is why people always complain about their taxes, because somebody else made a decision a few years ago that they now have to pay. I'm actually saying, for the first time, we have an opportunity to really work a deal where the locomotive engineers get what they want, and the taxpayers of New Jersey and the riders of New Jersey get what they need, which is a fair deal that won't cost them an arm and a leg.
Okay. The engineers, I understand it, 400 people in that union out of 12,000 transit workers, and yet there is fear, we're told, by some of the other unions, that if you yield to the engineers, I say yield in quotations, the other unions are going to have to rise up as well. And that's what worries you.
And this is sort of the fundamental issue, right? If this was a union, let's say in abstract terms, this is the only union at New Jersey Transit. It's a very, very different proposition. That is not the case. I have 9,000 employees who are in unions in all kinds of trades. So I have to look at the overall picture and to see what is actually sustainable from a financial basis. And I'll just give you just one example, if you permit. SEPTA, which is on the other side of the river in southern part of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, is going through a tremendous fiscal crisis. They're about to increase their fares 20% and cut their fares 45%. That is because it is years and years of these kinds of decisions and financial problems that nobody ever paid attention to. I don't want to be in that boat, and I certainly don't want to leave the next person sitting in this chair that kind of a problem, because ultimately, Bill, it isn't the agency that's going to pay for it. It's the riders that will pay for it through a fare increase, or the taxpayers through a tax increase. Either one of those is a bad option, even for the engineers.
Yeah, but there was already a rise in costs for the passengers, right? Last year.
Last year it was a 15% increase. Yeah.
Right. So the people who live there and use this transit agency have already paid a price, and are they going to want to pay another big price from all this?
Which is precisely my entire objective here. I am saying that it is right for the fare payers they expect a level of service for the money they're paying. So that is sort of the basic point. But after that, we have an obligation to use the money they're giving us in a way that sort of builds out a very stable financial environment. Just the other day, I read a national story that basically said all transit agencies in the country, including this region, are in a death spiral financially. Guess one agency that is not? New Jersey Transit. You know why? Because we've finally tried to put the fiscal house of this agency in order. Just when we're doing that, what is the point in getting a labor deal done when you literally take an agency that is finally standing up its own 2 feet and basically dismantle it financially?
5-second answer, if you could. We just got to wind it up, but I do have a question for you. Have you talked at all and worked with the government of Washington, D.C., Mr. Trump's administration in all this?
Not on this in particular, but on other issues, obviously, because they're a huge funder of our organization.
What percentage of your funding comes from the federal government?
Look, we got almost $2 billion a year in federal funds. It's a big number.
Okay. Kris Kolluri, good luck to you, sir. I appreciate you taking time. I know you're really busy, and good luck. I think a lot of people are hoping that this thing is over by Monday morning, and fingers are crossed.